What's up, guys? You're listening to To Transcend, a podcast that inspires individuals to go beyond their limits. Our names are Kevin Tran
and Jimmy Tran. On this show, we sit down and converse with others and ourselves about the journey we're on and the lessons we've learned along the way. What's up, everyone? It's Jimmy from To Transcend. You guys are watching or listening to episode 4. In this episode, me and Kevin dive deep into how relationships and your environment affect you as a person. I myself dive deep into my individual relationships and how they've helped me grow as a person. And Kevin himself takes a broader aspect and tells you how he keeps people in or keeps people out. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Morning, man. Next episode. We're back.
Morning, bro. It's nighttime, bro.
It's like, 10 p.m.?
Yeah, it's 10:24 p.m. right now. And Wednesday, August 11th, right?
10th, I think.
10th? Let me double check. It doesn't even say. All right. Anyways, it's one of those days.
Yeah.
But yeah, excited for another episode.
Yeah, our last one was super good, man.
Yeah, and well, episode 2, we haven't dropped episode 3 yet, but it was pretty good. The feedback was awesome, hearing from a lot of old friends.
Yeah.
And connecting with new friends. So it was, I don't know, it felt good.
I'm excited to see the reaction to episode 3.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'll be a good one.
And if you guys don't follow us on IG, make sure you do. And when Kevin hits that IG story asking for your replies, make sure you hit him up and let him know what you guys think.
Yeah, I mean, that's my favorite part, is hearing how people relate to the kind
just
of
the episode.
Yeah, just the episode and like the things we talk about. Because, I mean, this is my first time actually like being open and talking about things and stuff, and it's very therapeutic for me, like I said in the previous episodes. But yeah,
it's kind of cool because I mean we're talking about it, we're posting it, you can't take it back. So once it's out there, it's out there.
Yeah. So once again, trying to be transparent as possible. I don't know, really got nothing to hide, and just hope people learn from our experiences, and then also for us, because we're still like on this journey of
finding ourselves.
Yeah, self-help, trying to figure it out.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Always room for growth.
For sure. But for this episode, dude, kind of want to get into
how our environment and how people around us affect us.
Yeah, definitely. I want to like dig into that. Because I feel like humans are like very powerful, just in the way that they can influence people.
That's facts.
Yeah, whether it's directly or indirectly, dude. Like, I mean, that's why there's all those sayings out there, right? Like, tell me who your 5 closest friends are and I'll tell you who you are.
Yeah.
Right? Or like, and then people are always saying, surround yourself with people that you want to become.
Exactly.
I don't know, lately I've been hearing a lot about that, like how people influence you. And it's pretty interesting because a podcast I just listened to recently, dude, it talked about, it was Jay Shetty and Ed Milet. It was Jay Shetty's podcast called Purpose or On Purpose, something like that.
Was this on Spotify?
Yeah, it was on Spotify. So yeah, we'll link that episode in the description and stuff. But he talks about how does he like kind of level up in life, right? Like, because you're already at this level, what are things you do to like change your perspective or like change your ways, because
you shouldn't stay stagnant.
Yeah.
Stay the same person.
Yeah, like how do you change your mindset and stuff, because it's like he put it in a great perspective, but like once you grow, like once you're 23 and then you become 24, like 23 is gone, So like, why would you want to be the same person you were at 23?
Was he saying those age, just like 23 to 24? Was he saying like, I guess all
every
ages?
year.
Okay.
Yeah, every year. Like every year you're a different person, And so he said the number one thing was his purpose, right? His main like significance, like what he was like fighting for in life, like basically like just like being like super specific about a certain purpose, right? So that was his main driving factor. And then the second one, to keep him kind of on track and stuff, is who he surrounds himself with, the proximity, he called it, the proximity of the people he kept around him, you know? So proximity being like the distance, right? So the people, dude, this was fucking lit, bro. I'm fucking get excited talking about this, but he explains it. He's like, you see that thermostat on the wall right there, right? Think about this as a thermostat. Your internal thermostat is...
And real quick, if you guys think Kevin just has this energy during the podcast, you should see us during the day when we work from home.
Yeah, man,
it
so
could be
much
nonstop.
Fucking, that's what I said, dude. Like, we need to get some of this shit recorded. So
my bad. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, you're good. You're good. Yeah, they should know about that. But, so there's a thermostat on the wall. Let's say it's set at 74 degrees, right? But outside it's like 103 degrees. But that never changes the temperature inside, right? Because it's kept at 74 degrees, and that's your internal clock, as long as you don't let the external things affect you.
Okay.
Right? That being like television, social media, right?
Just all these other driving factors
Exactly.
that might slow you down.
Exactly. Like, it's 40 degrees, but think of it like as the temperature, but in our sense, it's more of a percentage of our spiritual level, right? Like our spiritual level, our mental health level, our fitness level, right? Like, let's say you're just whatever percentage you're at, that's what that internal thing is, right? And so with that being said, if you surround yourself with people that are a higher like temperature, right, then the temperature starts to rise, right? Your internal temperature. Because like same thing in the house. Like, what happens when you have a house party, right? And then a bunch of people start coming in. Yeah. Because because of all these people that you're surrounding yourself with, right? And the energy. And so if you think about it that way, that's how you kind of boost your temperature, right? You start surrounding, like, you want to boost your spiritual level, surround yourself with people who are spiritual at a higher spiritual level than you are, right? Like, let's say they're a 90 or 100, but you're at like a 70 or 60. You're going to start being more spiritual just because
they're rubbing off on you.
Exactly.
That same energy.
Exactly, dude. And like, going to the gym, right? Like, find someone that's more fit than you, right? And start hanging out with them, start keeping them in close proximity, right?
Yeah, and soon enough you'll probably be pretty ripped.
Well, not just ripped, it's just that motivation to like work out, right? Or to like learn from them, like what workouts you can do and stuff like that. But when he said that, dude, I was like, it like a light bulb, you know, like just lit up in my head. Yeah, it just clicked. Like, it made so much sense, and it made me go down memory lane and think about like the people I've crossed paths with, right? And the environments that I was put in, because like that plays a huge role. The environment, like, just think about you being in your house, but you leave the door open, right? That's like keeping the TV on and just watching TV all day long. Yeah. Right? The temperature is going to change due to those external factors. Yeah. And so like that same thing applies for negative people with like low energy or like low anger, like they just
spirituality
levels are low, like morale's low. That's gonna bring you down. You're gonna go down to the low. Like, I guarantee, like, that's why like people are like worried about, you know, like, I mean, I would be worried about like my kids, like if I had kids, you know, like their teachers, right? What are my teachers like? Because that's important. Teachers are important to kids. They teach them stuff, you know, like when they're a young age, where they consume a lot of things. But the most important thing is who their friends are.
Their friends.
Exactly.
And I'm pretty sure, I don't know if your parents have, but my mom was always like, make sure you're careful who you're friends with. You know, and even one of my friend's close mom, like, you know, she kind of, I guess, adopted me almost in a sense. She's always like, be careful who you surround yourself with. So I think what you're saying is 100% true. You know, that all parents think about.
It's like who your friends are. So if you're a parent, man, like that's the key thing to look out for, because literally if that's who they spend the majority of their time with, your kids, that's more than likely who they're going to be with. Like, if you look back in my life, like when I was getting into like stupid trouble and stuff like that, the people that I was hanging out with were always there. Like the gang that I would hang out with, you know? And like, I was like, fuck, dude, like that's so true, man. And so
it's not that you were necessarily a bad kid, you know, that was just kind of the crowd you were with. So it's like kind of, you're saying their energy rubbed off on you and you started doing the things that they were doing.
But I wasn't like consciously thinking about, oh, this is the group that's going to make me better, or like, you know, whatever it may be. At that age, I wasn't aware.
Yeah. You
right?
just kind of wanted to fit in with the crowd.
Exactly. It was just fitting to be in, right? Like, and so like this was the cool crowd at the time. Like that was what cool was. So then I gravitated towards that. I wanted to be cool. What kind of kid doesn't want to be cool, you know? So then I gravitated towards that, and then I end result, I ended like how they were exactly, you know. But that's because I put myself in that situation without even knowing, you know. If I had known better, maybe I wouldn't have hung out with that crowd, you know.
Yeah.
And like, it's weird as a kid though. Like you don't really know that, and I didn't know that. I was never taught that, you know.
I mean, I'll say I feel like I want to say 99% of the kids out there, even adults now, probably don't know that, you know. I feel like it's like hindsight's 2020. You're like, why the hell did I hang out with that group of people when all they did was just bring me down, you know?
Without even knowing it, like you said, like subconsciously, man. And it's not necessarily like their fault neither, you know. That's just who they are, you know. And so like, and that's who you didn't want to be, you know. So you got to make sure and be conscious about who you surround yourself with, especially if you're like, whether you're young or whether you're like in your 40s now. If you're wanting to level up, you know, like, and you don't want to end up like those people, like let's say you have a 9 to 5, right? And you go to work, and then after work you go hang out with those people, you know. They just, well, like you said, water cooler talk, right? Or they just complain about work and stuff like that. Like then that's all it's gonna be, you know. Versus maybe going to like a mastermind group, you know, putting yourself in proximity, because people would like wonder like, okay, so how am I supposed to hang out with a millionaire, billionaire, right? There's things you can do. It doesn't have to be about money, right? Like you don't gotta pay money to like be in a club or something like that. Like, but you start gravitating towards people,
something spiritually.
And I mean, and with social media or like the internet media now, digital media, you can literally put, you know, Ed Milet put it perfectly. You can literally put them in your ear. You know, turn on a podcast, you know, watch YouTube videos about these people giving talks and putting that energy off, right? And for me,
engulf the people you want to become.
Exactly. And that's kind of what I did, dude, when I started my 9 to 5, if I look back at it. I was in it for 2-3 years, and then I was like, you know, I want more in life, right? And so I started listening to Every Day is Saturday.
So real quick, you know, when you say you wanted more, do you think there was like people around you that affected that? Like, is there anyone you can think about in particular in that time frame that might have sparked influenced that, I guess, spark in your mind?
To be honest, no, man. I think the thing is, like, I got kind of used to where, like, and I felt like I plateaued and was stagnant. And dude, my whole life, as long as I can remember, I always felt like I was bound for something special. Like I was supposed to like make a huge impact in this world.
Like almost bound for greatness.
Yeah, for some reason, bro. Like whatever it may be. I don't know what, like a superhero, whatever. Like at least that's what I thought when I was young.
Yeah.
And I mean, and I still do. You know, like I wanna leave this world a better place.
Yeah.
Than when I was living in it.
I mean, I feel like that's kind of, you know, when you say you create visual stories to bring out the best in people. You know?
Yeah, exactly, dude. And I mean, I found like that's what I enjoy doing, and like that's kind of my purpose, I feel like, you know. And that's my way, because I thought, you know, at first I was like, I wanted to be famous, you know, I want to be rich as fuck. Like that was how I thought I was gonna be impactful in the world, you know, as a kid. And then like now looking back at it, I found like not everybody has that skill. You know, and it's different, every human being is special and unique in their own way and has a purpose to give to the world. You just got to go find that purpose. Right. And so I just kind of, like I said, I started listening to podcasts because I just wanted to better my mind. Right. And like my mental state, because I was just 9 to 5 job. It was getting kind of like
very routine.
Yeah, it's very routine and what's the word for it?
Mundane?
Bro? Yeah, mundane, right? So then I was like, man, I got to switch it up.
Yeah.
So driving to work, I started listening to Every Day Saturday podcast, and that kind of like flipped my switch. And then working out, I started listening to Russ. So it was like Russ, Every Day is Saturday, and then I stumbled upon Gary Vee on YouTube.
So I guess maybe briefly talk about how Russ impacted you, Every Day is Sunday impacted you, and Gary Vee.
Yeah.
Sounds like Gary Vee had a bigger impact, so maybe just skimmed through Russ and the podcast. I'm pretty sure they had a super impactful experience on you, but if you could just talk about that.
I mean, it's just like kind of what you consume, right? Like controlling that environment of what you're in and what you're like consuming, whether it's like through your ear, you know, whether it's audible or visually, right? And that's what I was doing, because I didn't really like, at that point in my life, I kind of separated myself from like my college crowd. My college friends.
Oh, your college.
Yeah. My kind of college friends that I was hanging out with in college. Not entirely, but I just like took a step back. I was like kept to myself a lot more.
Why is that?
To be honest, dude, I had to get out of that drinking and partying, because that's what they enjoy doing, and like that's like they were happy doing that. But like for me, like I said, I just had that thought in my head, like, man, I want to be more. You know, I want to do more, and like for me, I personally had to cut that off to be more. You know, and like that's because I felt like that was what was holding me back. You know, and so.
You feel like it was killing your time, like it was just energy that was misplaced somewhere else where you could use it somewhere more productive almost? Yeah. In my point of view, right? And that's how I feel, because like I was like, man, I don't have time. How do I have time to do anything on the side, right? To figure things out, right? Like I was at that point, I was like, dude, I ain't got time to like dabble into anything, bro. After work, you know, I just want to go have a beer and like chill, or like on the weekends, on the weekends you go to the club.
Yeah. So like I just, you know, wanted to like have fun with the rest of my time, you know, and like it was all short term to me though, right? I mean, dude, don't get me wrong, bro. Memories were made. I was having a fucking hell of a lot of fun, you know, but I just had this like epiphany, dude, where I was like, man, this is not what I
want to do.
Yeah, this is not what I want to be remembered for.
Yeah.
You know, and so I was like, I really like took a step back, you know, and reevaluated my life. And then I was like, okay, when I listened to those things, that's when I understood of like changing, like what's priority, right? You gotta prioritize, you know, like do you really want to be something else? Then you better start doing something else, you know, like, cause how can you expect change if you're doing the same thing over and over again, right? So I was wanting change in my life, so I had to do something different, right? And that's really what happened, dude. And so then I started like keeping the proximity of certain people closer, and then other proximity, I distanced myself. And that was just because of who I was trying to become, you know? Like, that's nothing against anybody.
Yeah. So do you think, well, you know, of course, naming no names, you know, did you have a thought process, or if you can even remember back, like, you know, how did you decide who you're going to keep in your proximity and who you kind of want to distance yourself from?
I mean, so for me, it was like, all right, who's trying to level up in life? As far as like, I didn't even know this, but like, it was like, for me at the time, it was like, okay, making more money, right? When essentially I was searching for someone who was wanting to live life on their own terms, right? Like to where they're not working for someone else. So that's what I was looking for. So that was one. And then two, creatives, you know, because I was trying to get into that creative space, doing video and stuff. But I wasn't like, I didn't even know. Subconsciously, that's what I was wanting, you know. And that's what I was like keeping around me. And then third was like health, you know, my physical health. And so those were the three things, you know. And work, I started noticing who I spent like time with specifically, like talking about stuff after work, because there was people at work that kind of like was on the same wavelength as me, right? Yeah. And so I just let it naturally become, you know, I was fortunate to be surrounded by these people already, and those are the people that I did keep close to me, and it so happened to turn out like it worked out. Yeah. You know, and so I didn't have to go out and like find, you know, people or put myself in that position. Yeah. Indirectly, I already had those people around me, and I just had to change the proximity of those people. Yeah.
So do you feel like I guess that was probably a couple of years back. Those people that you kept close, do you still have, would you say the same people in your proximity still, or like, do you feel like as you've, clearly you've leveled up from then, like,
Yeah.
do you feel like you're always kind of balancing that proximity and trying to figure who you want in, who you kind of want out? Not to make it sound like a club, right? But, just trying to figure out who you should surround yourself with.
Yeah. I mean, it's still pretty recent, so I don't think like I've like surpassed those people by any means, where they're not, I guess, viable to me anymore, like it's not like that, right?
Yeah, it's not like you're
like
in, you're out.
Yeah, it's not like where like I'm like, all right, you're not doing me any more better, like peace out. Nah, it's not like that at all, dude. Like I'm still like 100% with you all the way. It's just like if you hit like, dude, even if you're like, I keep you, let's say 1,000 miles away versus someone I keep 100 miles away, you hit me up, I'm still gonna be there, right?
Yeah,
and
you're not just gonna blow them off and be like,
but like it's like I've grown closer to, I would say, my creative friends, because like that's where like I'm going all in on, as far as like video, photography, just creating content. I've definitely moved a lot towards. Yeah, I definitely like gravitated a lot more towards that versus like maybe like the super like business side and stuff. Yeah, entrepreneurial stuff like that. But I mean, I'm still like
dabbling in both.
Yeah, they're still like really close to me, but maybe not as close as my video. And you're talking about like maybe a couple feet or so, right? If you're thinking about it in that sense. But I haven't really like changed my group. Other than what I consume digitally, like I said, so that's another I guess avenue, right? That you can kind of control. One thing though that like people may think that they can't do is like keeping the proximity. Like, okay, like for example, like let's say you grew up in a toxic environment, right, with like bad parents, for example, or like parents that just keep bringing you down. Like, say you're like worth nothing, blah blah blah, yada yada. Like you can't
just very.
You're a kid, yeah. You're like 12, 13, you're a teenager. You can't like just leave, and like live on your own or whatever, because they put a house over here. They provide you. Exactly. Yeah. And so like my thing with that is like try to drown that out and like try not to like be around them all the time. It's even though they're blood, you just have to control that proximity, and it sucks, but trust me, dude, it's for your own life, and like in the end they'll understand.
And I think that's kind of what's so beautiful about like all these different podcasts, YouTubers, like music, like that's why I feel like kids relate to, it's almost like a rapper, like one I can think of is like Juice WRLD, right? Like he had a lot of anxiety, like I feel like a lot of kids in that situation can relate to him, and that allows him to kind of drown out all that negative energy.
Yeah, that's interesting though, like, because to me that, I wouldn't say like that helped them level up. It helped them. It did help them though, not as far as like getting better. It did, right? Because they were able to relate to someone that had those same kind of issues, right? And they weren't the only ones. And like that's the power of humans, right? When you can relate to someone, it makes you feel better. Because versus like you're alone in this world, and
you feel like you have a squad behind you.
Yeah, you feel like you got a squad, and like you kind of unite in a way, and like you just get that energy. And that keeps you going. Because, dude, there's people that I'm sure they think about, like, the depression, that go through depression and stuff, and, like, have, like, suicide thoughts. And, like, those kind of music helps them cope, And so, like, yeah, but you're exactly right. Like, for me, it was, listening to, like, Gary Vee and Russ, right? Because, to be honest with you, dude, my mom doesn't have the best thermostat, right? Energy-wise. Like, she's, like, and it's the way she was raised and stuff, and I understand that, see where she's coming from and stuff, and like
she's how she's wired.
Yeah, she's always worried. Yeah, exactly, how she's wired and how she was raised as a kid. Her environment, like she is a product of her environment, and so like she is pretty negative sometimes, and that's why like you see myself distance like I keep my proximity. I'm very very careful. Like I protect my proximity with my mom. I know like when to spend time with her and then when not to and stuff. Just because of the way she is, you know.
And you don't want to say something you don't want to say or mean to say.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's just, it doesn't help anybody.
Yeah.
So like anytime I'm with her, bro, like I put a wall up and like I try to like just keep calm, keep my cool, you know, because like a lot of the things she said, it's not directly like because of me. You know, it's, she has like, she's dealing with a lot from the past, you know, and so I mean, I just, for me, like that's another reason why, I mean, that kind of plays into why like I want to get super rich. So like she didn't, because that's one of the main things, right? She came from super poor and she was always having to worry about money, right? And so, yeah, man. But like that's an example of someone negative that you like, that's blood, like a real life example, you know, like my mom, dude, that I have to like control the proximity with, you know, even though she's my, like, I'm gonna take care of her. I don't care like what it is. I'm gonna take care of her, you know. But as far as like directly like communicating with her and like all this, like talking about like spending like all my time with her and stuff like that, I just can't, because she's like super negative. Like it'll be toxic for both of us. Yeah,
because I mean, you know, to be fair, right, people would be like, how could you say something like that? But to be fair, you know, you're just giving you're giving your mom and yourself both a good amount of distance, you know, to where, because you can only handle so much negative as well, you know, like
that's what I mean. Like she would have brought my kind of like positive negative like outlook in life down, you know. I was so lucky, like with my dad on the other thing, he like balanced it out. Dude, my dad is like,
it's like the perfect balance, honestly.
Yeah, it sucks that it has to be like that, you know, because like I can only imagine where I'd be, you know, if I had two parents that are both like that, you know. But I mean, it is what it is. That's life, you know. You kind of like got to play with the cards you're dealt.
But I mean, in a way, like I'll say you could, if you had two parents that were super chill, I guess it's easy to look at it and say you could be even further. But I feel like, you know, with, you know, having with your mom kind of having like a higher temperament, it allowed you to learn how to build up that wall, know when to set your distance.
Yeah, how to control that.
Yeah,
you
know?
It gave me experience.
Exactly.
For sure. Like, and that's, I mean,
that's invaluable.
Yeah, that's something that I would never like forget, you know. And so like I empathize with her, right? Like I have empathy for her, and that's the only reason like why, like, because if not, dude, I probably like would resent my mom, you know, for everything that she put me through and stuff. But nah, man, like I understand, you know, keep things in perspective. And so I mean, it's just been blessed, dude. Like humans are just so important, you know. And so like, I don't know, I'm excited. Like inside, like I just fuck, dude, I got like goosebumps and shit talking about this. But it's just looking back at it, like middle school, who I surrounded myself with, right? Like I was hanging out with like Asian gangsters, to say, right? And like that's kind of who I became, you know. And I started doing bad things, and like it always was my parents who saw and they took me out, you know. And so like they took me out of, like they moved me to Texas because I was like, they saw me going down a kind of a path that they weren't too excited about, right? Like that was bad.
And being from NorCal, I feel like you see a lot of the Asian gangster stereotype up there too.
Yeah. And it's just because like that was, like I said, dude, like as a kid, you know, and like that's what also kept you safe, right? Like
being a part of a gang.
Yeah, you wouldn't get like jumped and stuff. If you got jumped, you had protection. Like that was just kind of like survival. And so after that, moved here, and I was still a product of my environment. Don't get me wrong. And so I gravitated towards the same kind of people over here, right? And so I ended up. It took me a while, you know, like maybe a few years in high school, and then I ended up finding like kind of a similar group, right? And then I started going down that like path again, like that kind of bad path for me. And it was like, it's probably just the way my personality is going like with that group. It was just bad for me. And so I ended up like getting into like stupid trouble and stuff. And then I had to get out of that again. And then college, right? I was put into another group, but it looks like it's about to run out. But I mean, we'll just continue or take a quick break.
And we'll take a quick break.
Just to reset the cameras. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
All right. Back.
We were back. So running it back, I think we left off where you were in college.
Yeah. So college was better for me. I was actually leveling up, right? I ended up so when I like kind of distanced myself from that high school early first year of college group, I kind of went into like my own little bubble, but I was still like playing flag football. And then I crossed paths with still a good friend of mine now. I don't want to name drop or anything, but I crossed paths with a good friend of mine now. Ended up bringing me, like, taking me into
almost
his
like
group of friends.
Bigger brother type of role.
Yeah. And so he ended up bringing me into that group, dude, and I'm so grateful, dude. Like, that literally was like a big turning point in my life, right?
Yeah.
And so surrounding me with like a little bit of an older crowd, right? And
more mature, you think? Or,
yeah, definitely more mature and
okay.
stuff. Like, they were like a little further along their life than who I was hanging out with.
Mm-hmm.
And so like they just showed me a different side of life, right? And like they were enjoying their life, like partying and stuff, but they were still like going after like getting their shit, you know, and doing their things. So then that happened, and then college, me being a computer science engineer, I was surrounded by like
more like, I guess you would say, just really quickly, nerdy people.
Yeah,
you think?
nerds, but dude, they're cool as fuck, bro. Like I love them, dude. Like, and honestly, if it wasn't for them, they definitely like kept me grounded in a way, because they like, dude, they were the total opposite of who I hung out with outside of school, you know. But inside of school, bro, they've helped me so much, like with schoolwork, like it literally, like I think their brain power, you know, their smartness, super intelligent people rubbed off on me, you know. And like, I don't know, I love it, dude. I can name all of them, you know. It's just, they've all made an impact in my life. Yeah. And for sure, like I'm grateful for them every day. And so I was like involved in those two groups, you know. Those were who I was kind of keeping in my close proximity. And so I was leveling up like computer science wise, and I was leveling up like just outside like street book, you know, books or street smart wise. And so that happened, and that was basically what I took all the way through college until I graduated and got my first job. And they're still like, that group is still, the older group is still who I talk to. Yeah, I talk to, you know, and then like keep in touch with all the time. But the proximity, I mean, everyone's kind of like gone off in their own life and stuff,
done their own things, started their own path.
Yeah, and that's when I kind of like
shifted gears a little. Yeah,
with my mindset and the stuff I've been listening to and stuff. But man, I still enjoy catching up with them, and like who they were, I guess, in the past doesn't mean who they are now, right? So like that doesn't mean like we would grow closer in proximity or not. It's just depending, you know. Because
they're still probably leveling up in their own ways too. You know?
Exactly, bro. Just in a different like sector. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of how people have shaped my life, bro. Yeah. And it's, dude, if not 100%, if not like, it's like at least 80-90% of it. Yeah. And like outside of that, like the environment, what I'm listening to, what I'm like consuming, as far as like just me personally, that's played a huge role too, dude. Man,
shit, it seems like, you know, from, you know, middle school till your first job, you know, the people that you surround yourself with, like, you know, as a kid, you kind of started down the wrong path, but as you got older and older, like, you know, I don't know exactly what it was in your brain that made that click for you, but you somehow went towards the right path.
Yeah, I started gravitating towards like the right people, and I think it was the fuck ups I've had, right? And like, dude, my dad, it's definitely my parents, like that always like kind of grounded you. Yeah, grounded me, kept me back on track, bro. So like, all power to them, man. Like, dude, if I had a kid that was like me, I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah. To be honest, like, I don't know how I would have handled it, bro. And like, they just always kind of nudged me back, right? And my dad always like said like,
make sure
he said, you got 3 strikes, son. That's what he told me in life. Like, you got 3 strikes before I just drop you. Like, everything cut you off, you know? And like, I had my second strike. Yeah. And that was when like,
it was a wake up call.
That was kind of the wake up call. And then that's when I found my kind of like big brother that took me in and like introduced me to all his friends. Man. Yeah, and it's just, whew, got chills talking about it, getting all
Yeah.
emotional and shit. But yeah, bro. And then like it's crazy because like those middle school and high school friends, those people from those groups, like there are people now that I actually like reconnected with.
I mean, arithmetical, bro.
Yeah, bro. Like
Fifth grade, right?
yeah.
Yeah, he still hooks up with the beats.
Oh yeah, dude. Dude, he said he has like a vault full, man.
Yeah.
But his shit is dope. And I think he actually just produced an artist's album.
Damn, that's
Yeah.
legit.
It's her name's Talia Brown. Yeah, we'll link her Spotify
Yeah, I'll have to
album.
check that
yeah.
out.
Yeah, it's a vibe, bro. I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah, dude. Especially like if you like chill hop.
yeah,
Yeah, his shit is nice.
nice.
Yeah, shout out to Andrew with Medical. But yeah, dude, what about you, man? How have your environment and people have impacted you?
Man, so I'll say for myself, I mean, I feel like you know me, and I'll say most people probably know me as like the more reserved person, like
Bro, that's how I thought you were.
up
Like
until-
like up until college, bro.
yeah.
You know, I just thought you were quiet until I stumbled upon your YouTube, and I was like, "This ain't Jimmy."
It wasn't until I was in college you stumbled upon it?
No.
You were in
me,
college.
Me in
Okay,
college,
okay.
because that means you were in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, I stumbled upon your YouTube, and I was like, "Dude, this ain't the Jimmy that I see at family reunions." You know, when we
Yeah.
get together in Houston. Like, I was like, "No way, bro! Like,
Yeah.
you were so quiet. Why was that?"
I think it's just the nature of how I am, man.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know exactly why I'm so reserved into myself. Like, I honestly, like, do think of it sometimes more as a con than a pro. You know, sometimes I wish I could just really put
Be more
myself out there.
Yeah.
But it's just so natural for me to kind of stick to my roots, like, stick to myself and, like, not really, like, go out there and, like, be super extroverted.
Yeah, because you're not like even now. I think like it's still that same. You still have that same kind of vibe, right?
Yeah.
Like you in real life versus seeing you on TikTok. I was like,
Very
"Bro,
different.
dude. It's so different."
Yeah.
But that's awesome though. It's like you flip a switch.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's cool to have.
Yeah. So I guess with that being said, you know, like I don't know why that was, I guess, my demeanor, but you know, it's just somehow I was always just kind of more
You think because
quiet.
your parents?
I think that could be it, right?
Yeah,
Because
both your parents were just.
yeah, they were also quiet themselves. I was an only child, so it wasn't like I was fighting over stuff with a younger or older sibling.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's just always me to myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I was used to that growing up. And I'll say, man, like thinking back as early as I can, I think when I first started to get really impacted was probably my parents, I'll say. I think just having them not really like be a super helicopter parent,
Yeah.
even as an early age, helped me just kind of grow into who I am now. You know, like I was lucky enough for them to like be able to buy me sneakers, probably like at 5 or 6. So like I said, I think that's where my love for sneakers even began. You know, watching, having my dad watch basketball, you know, in our apartment in Santa Clara. Like I remember watching those games and like wearing his like
Our
Air
dad's
Maxes.
a big sport.
Yeah, they were super big in the sports, man.
Hell yeah, man. And they were pretty stylish for like.
If you look back at those pictures, like
Yeah, bro.
Like,
They
they're
were like those
stylish.
jumpsuits and stuff,
yeah.
windbreakers and shit. Yeah.
But you know, like I think my love for all that really stemmed from my parents. And then I guess so I moved to Texas pretty early on. You know, so I honestly don't remember too much of California.
California.
You know, like
So as far as like the people and stuff. Yeah.
so as far as the people, the environment, like it had to shape me somehow, but I'm not 100% sure how.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I moved to Texas, which is where most of my mom's side of the family was. So I feel like for my early adolescent age, that's who I primarily surrounded myself with. And then luckily I was able to go to, or I went to a school district called A-Leaf, you know, which is the shirt I'm wearing.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like an inner city school district, all minorities, like Nigerians, like Hispanic people, Asian people, primarily Vietnamese.
Okay. It's very different from my environment over here.
Yeah, so it's very different from being up here, and like I think even being up here now, like I still get experiences that kind of blow my mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think just growing up in that school district, you know, like I don't know what it was, but I did gravitate towards, I guess, like the cool kids, kind of like how you did. You know,
Like I said, dude, at that age, wow, who wouldn't want to be cool?
yeah,
You know.
you just want to be cool, you know.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because I can strictly remember, like I feel like I've always had two groups of friends in high school, middle school. Yeah, like really middle school and high school, where I had like my Asian friend group. You know, we were all like kind of nerdy. You know, we went to school dances and stuff like that. And then I had my like Hispanic and Black friends who were, you know, like we're 13, 14, but you know, they're kind of getting into bad things themselves.
Yeah.
But for some reason myself, like even though I was friends with them, like I just never felt comfortable with getting into like the really nitty gritty bad stuff. And like I said, I don't know
Crazy.
why.
Yeah.
You know, like
well, you did have that other group though.
I did have the other group.
That's what I mean. That might have kept you grounded, and your parents. So like you said, your parents weren't helicopter where you're like had to rebel or anything, you know. But that's interesting though. Like that you were like kind of walking this like slack line, like balancing, right? Like not too nerdy, not too bad though.
Just kind of in between.
Yeah. Okay.
You know. So then moving on to high school, I think I still kept that same type of friend group. I think this is when I kind of drifted on more to like having, or I guess sticking with like the African American or like the Black African American Hispanic crowd. You know, and that's when I kind of really developed my love for, I guess, like dressing up in a streetwear sense, listening to hip hop, rap. Man, I don't know, like I said, like if you ever go back to A-Leaf, like there's just like this sense of like
culture there.
I don't know if it's even culture, but like it just seems like everyone is coming from like nothing and they're trying to make something for themselves.
Yeah, I see that a lot. I mean, if you look honestly, like look at like music and sports, right? Like I feel like there's a good handful of people, like a good number of people that come from A-Leaf. Yeah. And that makes a lot of sense though, you know, like you said, they come from nothing, and like there's always that like energy of like to grind and go get it. Damn.
So let's say I guess that's how my community, I guess, or environment affected me in a sense where it was like, you know, I felt so blessed to go to UT, even though like it seemed like such a crazy idea. I know for like, it's just another college, right? But it was like, nah, bro, we're coming from here to almost like the big leagues. Like,
UT's like the number one school, right? Yeah. And so like for you to do that coming from A-Leaf, bro, there's probably people that don't even go to college that graduate high school, you know? So that's a huge, like for me, and that's another thing though, like what got you influenced to go to UT or like to wanting to like do that? Like my thing is like what, like because that's like going
community college,
or like just like what was pushing you to go to wanting to level up educationally?
To level up educationally,
yeah, because like I feel like just outside looking in, right? I feel like a lot of people in A-Leaf like that wasn't there. Like, oh, I'm gonna go be smart as fuck, right? At least for the majority, you know. And that's just from my perspective, looking into A-Leaf. So like, what do you feel like made you want to be like, man, I'm gonna go to like UT, get into engineering school, you know, and like fucking graduate with that?
I think honestly, just, you know, my parents, you know, like it's not that they pushed me to be a specific degree, but you know, like they did always want more from me, want me to do better. So there's that aspect of my parents, you know, I feel like I barely skimmed over that, and that has even more of an impact. My friend group as well, right? Like I said, like I hung out with two crowds. There was one crowd where clearly they were all gonna go to college, and there was one crowd where, you know, that probably, you know, that wasn't the case for them. You know, it doesn't make them any less, but that's just not the path they decided to go on. So it's like I feel like I had a balance of both sides. Like I never was too much one side, too much the other side.
Because like I felt like you did good in school, right? You did well in school. Then you also had that other side that I felt like pushed you to do the YouTube get into streetwear culture and find your love for shoes and stuff.
Yeah. And I think with the YouTube, I really credit that a lot to probably my parents. Probably the fact that it's like I said, like there's something about not having a helicopter parent. I feel like you can just kind of do whatever you want to do. Freedom, I was already the kid where I was like, I'm not going to be a bad kid. And, like I'm not going to go out and smoke hella pot, and get into super bad shit. So for some reason, I just gravitated towards doing YouTube.
Yeah, you just had like kind of freedom, right? Yeah, because like for me, dude, I was like hardcore into gaming, but my parents were like, get the fuck off the computer, like why are you playing games all the time and stuff like that? Like that ain't gonna get you shit. Yeah. Versus you like for example, like imagine if I was like recording myself doing YouTube and stuff, right? They could have been like what are you doing recording videos and stuff like that? You look dumb, like just like because they're always like in my thing trying to like get me to do the right what they think is right, and so. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Okay. But I'll probably say for like my parents, they probably didn't know what I was doing. Yeah. You're like, he's just recording himself, like showing off his shoes.
Bro, or that like early that. On, yeah. Like it was weird, And then now it's okay. Yeah. Like parents are okay with it, But I'm just saying, like I think that's awesome that, because I know we're talking about like how people directly impacted you, but they indirectly allowed you. Right,
which impacted
giving you like that freedom to explore and like just be you. It allowed you to be you know, your authentic self, dude.
Man, I'll say like out of the family, like at an early age, and probably definitely I think really starting in high school, like, and even now, like out of everyone in our family, like you and Kelly have always had like an impact on me.
You think so? I mean, I know because we've always tried to like talk to you, like because we felt the closest to you, even though you were like pretty reserved. But it was just because like we both came from California, and like you were always quiet, so like we just wanted to talk to you, and like just be close to you. But I didn't know like that you felt like that about us, and that's cool to hear.
No, yeah, I think I always like it was almost like I looked up to you guys. You know what I mean?
Shit.
From like then till now,
I was you went down on your own path, man, and like that to me was like I was hindsight like damn, like motivated by you, you doing your shit like even now,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, back at it.
I went on my own path, but I didn't get on that path by myself, like there was so many other people that helped along the way, and I'm trying to like dive deeper into like the exact individuals because I feel like everything I've been saying is so broad. So I think I'll briefly talk about you and Kelly. Kelly's Kevin's younger brother. I think I feel like I've always been able to talk to you in like a spiritual way, right? Like,
well, more like I feel like you're always more open to me, because like you just felt like you could talk without being like.
Not necessarily judge, but like I just felt the energy, right? And when the energy is the same, like you're more willing to like just kind of open up. Especially coming from a reserved person, like I'm more reluctant to. But yeah, like I'll say like I mean we probably didn't talk super deep until maybe up to college. Probably text like how are you doing here and there, but like what I specifically remember is like I would call you when everything was going on with my mom, and I still have a screenshot of like when we were FaceTiming. I think I would at that time I was probably ranting to both you and Kelly. Like it felt like at that time like you guys were probably one of the, like up there with the big support systems, and just helping me get through that. So I feel like in the hindsight, you guys have always been kind of like a support system, kind of like inspiring figure. And I feel like now, right, like I've been able to shape how you guys affect me individually. Like I feel like you really helped me level up in the sense of like spirituality, like thinking about what I want to do,
purpose.
Trying to find my purpose in life. And then Kelly on the other hand is like pushing me like still also mentally because like right he wants to get like the dog out of me, right? Like pushing me competitive, which I don't think is a bad thing, right? Because like I think everyone does need that competitiveness,
that toughness,
skin. And he's also like helped me kind of level up just physically. Like just working out with Kelly, it's like you said, like if you're gonna work out with someone that knows more than you, is more fit, like you know, that energy is going to rub off on you and you're going to want to try to match them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I'd say that's how probably you and Kelly have.
That's crazy, bro. Like, I mean, I know that's what I said, like, I'm trying to do, but every time I hear someone say that about me, I'm just like, no way, you know? Like, it's just surreal to me. Like you're basically calling me like a hero, you know?
Yeah.
Like, in a sense. And I don't know, man. It's just, it hits me in the feels, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate you, like, opening up and telling me that because it makes me feel really good.
Yeah, man.
You know? And, like, that just goes into, like, kind of, me right now, I'm like trying to learn how to be blissful, right? Like enjoy
the moment.
Yes, exactly. Enjoy my like successes and stuff, right? Because like back, like I was always like, anytime I do something good or like someone tell me something, I'm like, oh cool, like thanks, you know, like, and then keep going, right? Because like that was just how I felt like I was like getting my stuff. I didn't realize this until I watched something recently and it put it into perspective. But like fucking it's okay to you're supposed to celebrate your successes, you know, but there's a balance, right? Like you don't want to be like too much over celebrating it, because then that's what people think. They celebrate it, they're like, okay, I'm not gonna be hungry anymore, right? For the next thing. But like Ed put it in a funny analogy. Ed Milet, again, this podcast that I recently listened to, it just
blew your mind,
bro. It just man, it's crazy, you know. Like like I said, I listen to everything with like intent, and so just trying to take that in and like enjoying it. And because when you eat something, this is what he said, it's because his wife did something, but like when you eat something and you actually like enjoy it, right, and it tastes good, do you not want another bite?
Yeah, it's like going to your soul almost.
Yeah, and of course you want another bite, you want to keep eating it. Same thing with success, right? If you enjoy your success and celebrate it a little bit, it's that dopamine and stuff, and it gets you pumped, and you're like, man, I want to do more, I want more success, like let's go.
It's gonna keep on going.
Exactly. So I think he's saying like how people have it in reverse, and think like, oh no, like I don't want to celebrate too much because I want to keep going, I want to still have that
but
hunger.
There's nothing wrong to celebrate.
I still want to still have that hunger, right? But if you eat something good, you want to eat more. So he's like, and I was like, damn, he like, that changed my perspective on that. But all right, like, so bringing it back, who else has influenced you? You know, talk about me and Kelly.
So you know, of course, you and Kelly. Man, I don't know. Like, you guys were probably the earliest because California, but you know, moving on to other people. I'll say like I feel like there's different chunks of people that I really think inspire me in different ways. So I'll talk about like in college. I feel like I joined a fraternity, so I went to a lot of different functions. I met a lot of different people, but I feel like the people that really inspired me the most so happened to be people from the fraternity. Not the sense that like we partied hard, you know, and like we got hella like messed up one night and stuff like that.
That's kind of what people see, right? Or what people think of when they think of sorority fraternities, just partying, right? But I feel like I've seen the side where there's like the network side, right? And stuff like that. So like I feel like that's what you're kind of going towards right now. Yeah.
So I'll say there's 3 guys I want to call out, and not call out, but like mention in particular. So one of them is just one of like, I guess I would say like the older bro that was in the fraternity. His name is Justin. He went to UT doing like RTF, you know, super against the norm. Like, so RTF is like radio, television, and film.
Oh, okay.
And he was trying to pursue like videography, you know, and like almost like living the dream like I wish I could have lived.
The traditional, but like he was doing it like tradition, like going to that school, right?
He was going to school and stuff like that. And you know, and I'm pretty sure if you ask him, he'll probably say like I didn't need to go to school. But to me, he is like honestly one of probably like his humbleness is like almost humbled me. You don't have to say like I was super cocky or anything, but like just seeing like his drive and like him working towards his goals and visions, like to say the least, like when he graduated college, like he was kind of struggling to find a job pertaining to his degree. But, you know, I think before COVID and everything happened, like he got hired on to like help film the Grammys.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
You know, so he was doing like Astroworld Fest, like.
Damn, like, bro. Talk about living the dream.
Yeah, you know.
And like when it was like when like it looked like all like hope was like he was like, you know, the light was like dimming and stuff.
Like he just ate at it.
Man, that's another story.
Yeah.
To tell that. Okay.
Another one is Bao. So he's like my pledge bro, and he's someone that when everything was going on, like he's just always kind of been like that family figure, just kind of providing that like moral support, and it's just crazy because like when I see him and his family, like he has a family of like 20 cousins or like, and they always do shit together, man.
That's badass, dude. I don't know, like just something about that I really enjoyed, because we kind of did that, to a certain extent, you know. And damn, I just I don't know. It feels like when the gang gets together, like you can all like go do.
It's like the energy, right? The squad, you know, like
and your blood.
Exactly, when it's just straight blood. So seeing him and how he goes about his family business, like it's inspiring to me because it makes me want to have a big family of my own. Not to say that we don't have a big family, but like
you have your own. You were an only child.
I was an only child, you know. So seeing him have that type of bond, I'm just like, that's the type of shit I want to have with everyone, you know. And then the last guy I want to mention is David. So he's the one who did the Boba Republic.
Okay, yeah.
And he was, I guess, considered like my pledge captain. So kind of like, I guess like the bigger brother type of sense.
Okay.
And his, I don't know, like it's just his drive, his determination. Like, you know, besides like you and Kelly, man, like his work ethic is just unreal, bro. Like the shit he tells me, like, you know, like not that he tells me to try to showboat, but like he just, I'm asking him like, oh, like what's your schedule like? And he'll tell me his schedule. I'm like, damn.
So like with these guys, like did you feel like you controlled that proximity, or it's just kind of like destiny, like kind of fate? It kind of happened.
I think kind of fate and proximity, right? Like I think.
Oh, like because you were who you spent like time with, right?
And I think me, right? Like I'm not. It's like you, right? Like I wasn't ever like shutting people out, like even being an introvert. Like I'm not gonna talk to you. I'm not gonna associate myself with you.
Because this is in college, right? Did you know at the time like how surrounding yourself with these certain people, like have you had that like click yet?
How they would shape me?
Yeah.
Probably not, man.
Okay.
It wasn't, you know, like it wasn't until like I look back at it even now, you know, where I'm like, those guys were pretty damn impactful.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. We were just talking about, said it recently, like heard it too. Man, I don't know. Everything's just been like conspiring, right? The universe conspiring. Everything I listen to, like it's like all connects. Yeah. But it's like saying how you can't connect the dots looking forward, right? You can only connect the dots looking backwards. Yeah. And like that's exactly what you're kind of saying now, right? Yeah. Like looking back at it now, you kind of like oh, you know, like I see how I'm shaped.
See how they helped shape me as an individual and help me level up in that sense.
Yeah. All right, real quick, dude, we gotta take a quick break again.
Sounds good.
Once we get back, we'll wrap you up and then wrap up this episode.
Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the beat.
All right.
Welcome back, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the beat. I know every time you play some rhythmatical, bro, I'm always feeling the vibes.
Awesome. All right, so just kind of catching you guys back up from the break. Jimmy just got done talking about, I mean, I enjoyed that you said that, but just talking about how his fraternity brothers, his kind of
help me level up as well.
Yeah, and like because of the current, like, I wouldn't say MO, but like what people visualize when they think about fraternities and sororities is like party and like get messed up, party, wild, like that's all they see, right? But like how it's had a positive impact on you. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right, so after college, was there anyone else?
So after college, there's definitely a couple more, and like I feel bad even just mentioning like such little people because I feel like there's so many people that
there is. That's why I was kind of like grouping them.
Yeah.
But
and just because I'm calling those 3 people, like there was a shit ton of people that helped lifted me up and leveled me up in some way or another.
But I mean, and you're just calling these people out specifically, and then like kind of naming like what they kind of did for you, you know. But that by no means means that was it.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Yeah.
But man, I'll say so. I feel like I talked about how my family, you and Kelly, helped me level up. My fraternity brothers from college, and then I'll probably say, and then I talked about my parents briefly, and I'll probably say the last 2 are my girlfriend and then my best friend Jimmy. Man, it's like I guess they help level me up in different ways.
Yeah.
But you know, I feel like with Leilani, my girlfriend, she helps level me up in the sense where like she keeps me grounded. You know, she keeps me almost like level-headed. Like she's not afraid to call me out on my bullshit. You know, like I'm thankful that I have a girlfriend like I can have deeper conversations with rather than like, you know, of course we'll ask each other like, how was your day? You know, because you want to hear about the other person's day, but you know, we're not afraid to dab into like deeper conversations, talk about life.
I mean, I feel like that's how every partner should be, right? Like, because talk about proximity, that person is like the closest. In your proximity. Yes, exactly. That person is like the other half of you, you know, in a way. And so that person is probably like a big key role, you know, if you're in a relationship, you know, but if you're single, then okay, different story. But if you're in a relationship, that person is gonna like it really kind of like shapes who you are for sure. Yeah.
I mean, and I'll probably say, so we met kind of in the middle so we met a little bit before, like when both my parents got sick, you know, just seeing how she handled it, like her humility and like just like helping, you know, dropping everything herself to take care of me for my well-being. You know, like I said, like I can only connect the dots now. You know, at the time, like I couldn't. It was just like I'm getting help from everywhere, you know. But now I look back, it's like that was a big source of me getting through all that, you know. And like I think what I got from that directly is like how much someone is willing to sacrifice their own well-being so you can be okay.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, so I'll say that was like one of the biggest things with Leilani. And then even just now, you know, like you talk to your crazy stuff about Anne, and I talk to Leilani about my crazy stuff, and they can only handle so much, but they're like,
I feel good and bad. Like, for our significant others, man. Yeah. Because we'd be talking about some crazy ass shit.
So, and when I say crazy, I mean like, you know, the whole idea of like what we're trying to do in the future, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a lot.
It's a lot to handle for one person to be like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like,
no,
take
it
a
is
step
a lot.
back.
Like, and then for them, they're like a sounding board for us, you know? Like, not necessarily are like, they're like on the same wavelength, you know? But like, they're going through stuff too, you know? But like, we're just like, and especially like they're not like trying to do the same thing as we are. Like it's different. It
is different,
you know. And there are significant others. So like, yes, they are willing to listen, but we gotta take into consideration like how much we give them. Because you brought up like the capacity, you know, thing, and like that's exactly true. Like there's a balance, you know. And like that's why like it shouldn't be like dependent on your significant other, you know. And so I'm glad I have you. That's all I'll say, bro.
No, for real, bro.
Yeah.
But, you know, so talk briefly just now about Leilani, and then the last person I'll bring up, just real quick, is my best friend Jimmy. So I met him in high school, my freshman year. We had PE together. We have the same exact name. We were like, who the hell are you? Like,
didn't they mess you guys up in your yearbook or something?
Yeah, so the story with that is like Jimmy was never in a yearbook until our senior year.
It's because they thought they printed your name twice.
Yeah, they thought it was like some typo or something.
Yeah. That's fucking.
But yeah, man, from freshman year, we just hit it off as like really close friends. You know, like in our senior yearbook, we have they have like those awards, like, and we have like best bromance.
Yeah.
So there's a picture of us in there together.
Nice.
And you know, I guess it wasn't until recently where I really felt spiritually connected with Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
I would say like up until college, like, we just had like a normal best friend relationship. We were close with each other, like we had our on and off moments. I'll say like even in college, like because I went to Austin, like we kind of drifted away a little, and that's primarily my fault, just because like I drifted away, like I was busy with school.
But that doesn't mean, like I said, it's just different points in your life.
Yeah.
Right. And like true friends, they'll always be there. Like it's like as if it was like, if you're busy, you're busy. Like they will understand that, bro.
Yeah.
Like at that point, like what point you're in your life,
Yeah.
It doesn't mean like, man, no, fuck that. He wasn't there at this time. Like that's it.
Yeah.
Right. Or like she wasn't there at this time. Like that's it. Like
Yeah.
I'm done. Like if you're that kind of person, you need to reevaluate that for real. Like cause that.
Even speaking facts.
Yeah, bro. Like that's not how it should be, bro. Like why are you? Like what did, like just because they're not like spending time with you, they got something going on there, or they're trying to do something else in their life, like if anything, just support that, and then who knows, down the road you guys cross paths again, or like you guys reconnect, and whatever they're doing in the off, it might help you, in a way. Like you just never know, and it's like, it's not, don't take it personally, like that's the problem, I think. But
yeah, and I'll say like to me, I feel like Jimmy never felt like that. I just think we did drift away pretty bad. Yeah. But I think what made him who he is to me now was, going back to like when my mom first got sick, like, man, like, dude, he was like my right hand man, bro. Like there was, for like the level of giving that guy is like, there was this day where I was supposed to go from Houston to Austin, and I was supposed to take a bus. Like I was taking the mega bus like twice a week to come back, go back to school. And it was a Monday where I was supposed to go back up to Austin, and my bus was like at 4. I was with my mom, and like I have to leave like maybe like 30 minutes from the hospital to get to the bus stop, and I wanted to spend like just 30 minutes to an hour more with her. And Jimmy told me, he was like, fuck the bus ticket, I'll drive you up to Austin, drop you off, then go back home. To me, like him just driving me up 2.5 hours so I could spend another hour with my mom, and dropping me off at my apartment, then driving back home in the middle of the night, like
that's crazy, bro.
Yeah. So
that's a friend that, now I see why you are the way you are with him, the relationship you guys have.
And that's just like one of, like, to me, that's like one of the smaller things that he did.
Wow.
Like just during all that. So I feel like that really helped solidify our relationship. And then just our, like, I guess, love for each other. And it wasn't until recently where, I guess spiritually, I guess like what we're trying to do in the future, like I won't drop his business because I don't know if he feels comfortable dropping all that yet. But man, we just had a call one day while I was driving home from work, and I think he was driving home, and almost kind of like how me and you connected spiritually in a sense, like
just had like an epiphany.
We had an epiphany almost. And I think from that moment till now, like I still remember I was on 20 about to pass Bowen. Like it's just so vivid. I don't know why I remember that exact phone call, but I do. And man, like, like I love Jimmy. There's no buts. Like clearly, like we don't always like agree with each other in every sense, but yeah, man, that guy has helped me level up on a lot of different levels. And like everyone else, like that I've name dropped or talked about, like, and everyone else I didn't name drop, like it's like you say, bro, like I just look back and I'm like so thankful for every single person that's come across my life, because it's like you said, bro, like I probably wouldn't be jack shit without the people that were behind me helping me pave that way. I mean, of course, like I have my individual sense, but like
it's, you are a product of your environment, right? And like everyone that you've crossed paths with has made you who you are today. I don't care like how insignificant it was. There was something, like, for example, the person that interviewed you for Lockheed, that hired you on, right? If it wasn't for them,
I wouldn't have the job.
Exactly, right? Or if it wasn't for them seeing that, oh, this guy may be, significant to our company or whatever. Like I see potential in him, right? If they didn't have that belief in you, they are the one who put you in that position, you know,
Yeah.
and like kind of made that happen. And like it's just stuff like that, right?
Every single person.
You know, I mean that's small. Like just think about the team that drafted Michael Jordan, right?
There was
like,
a whole squad.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like it's just like things that are like that, or like even like let's say whoever decided to sign Russ, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like who knew they were gonna be this big person, but they saw
Yeah.
your potential, they signed you, and like even though that person doesn't feel that was their purpose though, bro, they signed this magnificent rapper, you know, like
Yeah.
this amazing rapper. Like it's just, dude, it's just every human, like I said, has a purpose.
Yeah.
You know, they just gotta find it. You know, every human has 2, 3, 4 special skills that they have inside of
And
them.
they can tap into.
They just gotta find it and tap into it, man. Like it, because a lot of people get it mixed up with like wanting to do the cool thing, right? Or like what's in, you know, versus like finding what they're good at.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think that's a good way to wrap up this podcast, bro. Like you talked about like direct relationships you've had and how like specific people have impacted you, and I talked about like kind of surrounding yourself with like
The groups,
the environments and stuff like that. So I don't know, it's good, dude. It made me realize a lot. I mean, one thing, just to wrap it up real quick, that I want to bring is like my little brother Kelly, like you mentioned, bro. Like it's just me and him, you know, like, and you had nobody, and I was like lucky and fortunate to have him, and like the relationship that we have with each other is, I don't know, man, I couldn't have asked for like a better relationship,
Yeah.
you know, with a sibling.
Because you guys mesh pretty well.
Yeah, like we do have our indifferences and
Which
stuff.
is pretty normal.
Yeah, which is normal, but like we're able to like work it out. Like dude, even though we're like, I wish we were closer, you know, as far as age difference, because we could have spent high school together, college together. We're like at that perfect like 4-year mark where like as soon as I'm done with high school, he comes in. You know, as soon as I'm done with college, then he comes in. You know, and so if we didn't have that, like I think we would be like a crazy ass duo, bro. Like in whatever we do, you know.
Fucking shut up.
Yeah, dude. Like we would
In every aspect.
Yeah, like sport, business, anything, you know? But yeah, I'm just grateful for him, dude. It made me realize a lot. You know? I'm not going to go into detail, but shout out to Kelly. Hey,
Maybe
bro.
we'll get Kelly on another episode.
Yeah, he's not very, he doesn't like to be that
He's hesitant.
outspoken. Yeah, he's hesitant.
But we'll see.
Yeah, maybe one day. But yeah, let's
wrap this up.
It's about 11:30 p.m.
Good episode,
It's our
man.
latest episode.
Until the next one.
Yes, sir. Good night.
Bye, man.
Enjoy this last beat from Rhythmatical.
Later, guys. You know, so if you look back at your environment, look at the people that you surround yourself with, how do they help shape you as a person? There's so many things to consider when you look back just to how someone becomes who they are today. Let us know what you guys think. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Make sure you guys stay tuned for the next one. Peace.